Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, what is today, July 8th, Wednesday. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:09 a.m. and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America, the greatest country ever born and 250 years strong, if we can keep it. It's the place where veterans, people who've prepared to give their lives and those who have made us and kept us free. We honor them. Thanks to John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. Today's veterans: Gerald Barney O'Donnell, Kingston; Robert Bob O'Malley, Moscow; Christopher Doherty, Scranton by way of the Bronx; Francis Kelly, Plains; Terry Urso, Bloomsburg; and Lieutenant Commander Patrick Gallagher, Leyda, Florida, but he was from Macanaqua. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be and set about to make sure it would not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because when you give power to the government, they take freedom from you. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they abuse it. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, these Americans, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show will always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. Well, we are here, and first of all, I want to remind you, you could catch this program on 103.1 FM, 9:10 a.m. up in the Scranton area, 9:80 a.m. in the Wilkes-Barre area. And, of course, you could go to Odyssey, AUDACY, get the app, find WILK. I go to WILKnewsradio.com and pick it up. But on top of that, we've got a live stream video. And that is brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Roach Supply, the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. A great family. They're celebrating 75 years in business. Still at the helm at 95, Ron Roach. Visit roachsupply.com today, ROCHE. And they're the best at kitchen and bath, and they prove it just by being around for 75 years. You can also go to their sister company. They own it, Chapman Supply in South Abington Township. So yesterday, this is just, it's not political. It's sort of one of these little battles. You know how we have these little battles every day? with whatever. Some could be with nature. Mine are usually with machinery of some kind. Well, I told you that my absolutely essential iPad Pro had run out of power, and I couldn't recharge it. So I did something unusual for me. First, I tried to go to the computer store. There's one up in Dunmore that they're great, but they just weren't there when I went. Anyway, I go home and I say, you know what? I've been saving these wires. Got all kinds of wires and connectors and all this crap. And whenever I see it, I'm ready to throw it away. I said, let me see if one of these fits and works. And lo and behold, among the 20 of them, now I can't throw any of them away. Among the 20 of them, one of them worked. And it was the flimsiest looking one of all. And it was interesting. But anyway, I've got power. It's not as long a cord as I would like. But other than that, we're in good shape. And I've got my iPad Pro, which it really has become essential. You know, your phone and all that. Yeah, it really is important to your daily life. Although a few days break from it, and I think you would say to yourself, you know, why am I doing this? You know, why am I doing this? And so anyway, we'll see. But I'm back at full power on the iPad Pro. So this Graham Plattner situation, it's become, you know what it is? It points out the ridiculous joke that today's Democrat Party has become. Now, Bernie Sanders, I told you he's an old jackass. Please, likable, all that. And he really is likable. But he's so stupid, so phony, so lacking in self-awareness, like all of them. He may be even worse. He's withdrawn his endorsement for Graham Plattner. Well, how about all those? I mean, do you think you'd check them out before you gave an endorsement? Hands up in the air like they're conquering heroes. Like, absolutely sickening people. If you're a Democrat, you've really got to be saying to yourself, this is insane. I don't want any part of it. You really should be. I'm going to become an independent. I can't do this. These people are idiots. They're supporting scum. Their entire platform is based on lies. Like I told you about this Who Pays tour. Hit Scranton. Page 3. Pictures galore. Some blown up fat cat, whatever. And it's like, instead of calling it the Who Pays tour, it should be called the Irony Abounds tour. Now remember, Black Scranton is the group headed by CEO Glynis Johns. Typical left-wing lunatic. Glynis Johns is the one who asked Mayor Cognetti to stop the police from parking in their parking lot. It made her feel unsafe. This is the mental illness. Now, a normal person would say, oh, isn't that great? The cops park here while they're communicating and reconnoitering and thinking and planning, and it's a real deterrent. How great is this? They don't use the parking lot at these hours either, by the way. It's not like they're taking up spots that they need, that Black Scranton needs. So this idiot, this mentally disturbed person, I don't know what else to call her. This person was troubled. And we have Sonny Hostin, the idiot on The View. And she, again, the typical, when she goes someplace, she said, I don't even think, I don't know, I might have played, I think I have the clip in here today. When she goes somewhere where there's lots of flags, American flags, she gets uncomfortable. These people are sick. And Bob Casey, by the way, right in the middle of it, suit and tie. Suit and tie. And it's called Who Pays? When every single one of these people are sucking on some teat of government. It's insane. Who pays? We pay for you. They don't even get it. They remember, zero lack of self-awareness, no affinity, no connection to fact, truth, or reality. That's who these people are, and that's why the Democrat Party needs to be destroyed. It has to be rebuilt, and it has to come back as a reasonable alternative to the Republican Party, because the Republican Party ain't great either. It's just by about 1,000 miles the better of two evils. But it's not even close. There's not even a choice. And by the way, it's worth the effort. Don't use this as a reason. Well, they all stink. No, that's a cop-out. And you need to do your duty to your country by voting against these lunatics. But by the way, the subtour of Glynis Johns and Black Scranton's insanity was that the mayor removed the cops. She acceded to this insane request instead of saying, listen, this is good for you. It provides additional protection and visibility. No, not our mayor, not the left-wing lunatic. She removed the police. These people are insane, all of them. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Hard to believe it goes back that far, but I don't know. To me, Elvis seems so current. But July 8th, 1954, Memphis disc jockey Dewey Phillips first aired Elvis Presley's first single, That's All Right Mama, on WHBQ radio, kicking off Elvis's career, and Murph providing, of course, all that information. Wow, July 8th, 1954, Elvis gets cooking. Amazing. Well, on Saturday and Sunday, July 11th, 12th, the Wyoming Monument Association is going to be there. But they've got the battle reenactment of the Battle of Wyoming. Absolutely awesome. Reenactment's about 3 p.m. on Sunday. But they've got activities on Saturday and Sunday. And with us is our man Daniel with the 24th Connecticut Militia. And he's going to tell us some more about it. How are you, Daniel?
Doing well. Thank you, Bob, for the time. And just want to point out something real quick. When Declaration of Independence was read, there was a 10-year-old boy named James Fortin who ended up being inspired by the Declaration, ended up joining the Navy later on, was captured by the British. And a British captain was so impressed with him that he wanted to bring him onto his own ship, and he was friends with the captain's son and became friends with his captain's son. And he wanted to have him serve him with the British Navy on his ship. But the boy, and I forget the exact quote for him, but his name was James Fortin, and he said that he could not disrespect or turn against his own country.
Wow.
And so he ended up being a prisoner of war, was released and walked from New York City all the way back down to Philadelphia. But what's interesting about this is James Fortin was a free black man, and he went through all that in favor of the country.
Wow.
But yeah, the Battle of Wyoming reenactment this weekend. We have a couple things going on. It's open to the camp. It's at Nesbitt Park, first of all. It'll be open to the camp from 10 to 5 on Saturday. And there's going to be Mrs. Q is going to be there, and she's going to be giving a demonstration of women's clothing of the time. And we have a fellow named Tom in our group. He's going to demonstrate some gentlemen's clothing from the time.
Wow.
But the main theme, the main thing that we're going to be doing on Saturday is about 3 o'clock. We're going to have a Shades of Death Immersive Woods Walk. And basically what's going to happen is it's going to kind of demonstrate what the people from the valley, the refugees from the valley, experienced while they left the valley after the Battle of Wyoming. And so it's going to be an immersive event. You're going to go through the woods, and it's going to take you right back to 1778. And you're going to experience the sounds of Native Americans with their sounds and some kind of attack type things. Don't want to get into too much detail there because there's some things that are kind of a surprise. Now, anyone who's interested in coming to that, just a quick word is that it is PG. So if you're a parent, you may want to be careful about bringing your children all through. And also, if you do want to come through
because of the reenactment of violence, obviously, right?
Yeah. So there won't be any violence in front of anybody. I can tell you that much. But you'll know, But there's the sounds and some of the experiences and some of the sights. Again, no, I don't want to reveal too much, but some of the sights that would be seen as you go through this walk. So it's not for the youngest of children. So we do want to throw that out. But it's also through the woods, right there next in Kirby and Nesbitt Park there. So you're going to want to dress appropriately. Good shoes, no like open toe shoes or flip flops or anything, because it is through the woods. So you want to be careful of that. Yeah. And then on Sunday in the morning, we're going to have a demonstration of military music for the Revolutionary War. And just a quick note, some people, I just watched somebody watching The Patriot, and they saw that there was a drummer on the battlefield. Like, what is your drummer? What do you have a musician on the field for? what folks don't realize is during the Revolutionary War, the fifer and drummer was very important to the role of the army. They woke troops up in the morning. They called for food and water calls, officers' calls, and in battle there was different calls that the drummer would play on the drum so that the soldiers knew when to load and fire. But there'll be a demonstration about that at 11 o'clock on Sunday, and I think it's 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Rather, we'll have the battle demonstration right there at Nesbitt Park. So we've got quite a few things planned. There's going to be an encampment where you can go through the soldiers' tents or, where their camp is.
How many people are participating in this reenactment? Well,
it's as reenactments go, for participants, it's kind of small. We're anticipating about 30 participants, give or take, depending on the weather, too. That does play a part.
But all in period clothes and all that kind of thing. How great is that? That is awesome.
It'll be period clothes. And the clothing, we try to be as accurate as possible to what was historically worn. And kind of on that note, it is going to be a little bit smaller as reenactments go because it's been about maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 years since the 24th has put on a show, put on an event like this. I think Mount Cobb, you might recall something up in Mount Cobb. We had done something back then. So it's kind of a rebuilding. We want to kind of just get started a little bit small, and then next year, if everything goes well this year, next year we intend to be a little bit larger. And the 250th anniversary, right now we're celebrating 250th of the nation, is signing a declaration. But the 250th of the Battle of Wyoming is actually 2028, so 2 more years from now. So for that, we'd like to have a really nice show, a really big event for folks to look forward to.
But this Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and again, you said at Nesbitt Park, you guys are going to be doing the whole package. I love it. Thank you for all this effort, Daniel. This is important. It is. People don't realize, on the whole, myself included, that we were a big part of the Revolutionary War, and that amazes me. It impresses me, and I'm so happy you guys are doing this. Thank you.
If I could just take one more moment quickly, to kind of expound on that. I know our time's limited, but when you consider the length of the Battle of Wyoming was approximately 45 minutes to an hour, which was the same time frame as the Battle of Trenton. But in the Battle of Trenton, you had 2 Americans killed, maybe 5 wounded on the American side. I'm guessing, I forget now the numbers, but maybe close to 50 to 100 Hessians killed. But here in the Battle of Wyoming, you had at least 200 casualties on the American side only, specifically in the same time frame. So it was as a phrase, per capita, it was a larger, more casualties in this battle per capita than some of those other battles, some of the other major battles in such a short period of time. And that had such a significant impact on Washington. In fact, when word got back to England, and I'll finish with this. When word gets back to England, it kind of had the effect there to the English that the Tet Offensive in 1968 had on us here. So it's kind of similar a comparison there. So,
well, you're commemorating an important event this Saturday, this Sunday. Daniel, don't hesitate to call in later this week just to remind people of what's going on. We'll at least talk about it for a few minutes, remind them of the X's and O's to attend, and we appreciate you calling in today. Thank you.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
All right, my man. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will come back with a great Veterans Tribute and more on The Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. And I can't even believe it, but it's already Wednesday, which means we start talking about Basiliga Hospitality Group. 3 great bar restaurants. You love every one of them in their own way. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. All of them completely reimagined, reconstructed, and gorgeous. Great food, great service, great drinks, the whole package. Coming soon, maybe even this month, Coney Island Lunch. The legend returns. And right next to it, Reagan's Ice Cream. I can't wait for that. The Bulldogs tell me he's got to go there. And you know what that means? When he says he has to go there, it means I have to pay. The Stegmeyer Mansion. Fine dining in an old world setting, downtown Wilkes-Barre. And a brand new and updated take on fine dining, a Terra 519. 519 Linden Street, downtown Scranton. Awesome. Bob O'Malley. He was from Moscow. He was 84, and we lost him June 28th. Survived by his loving wife, the former Joan Donahue. They'd been married in 1977. They shared nearly 49 years of marriage. Bob O'Malley was born in Scranton. Graduate of West Scranton High School. He attended King's College. He proudly served his country in the United States Army from 1964 to 1966. Before his retirement, he was employed by the Scranton Times. He was an active member of the Moscow Fire and Hose Company. He loved gardening and took great pride in tending to his yard. In addition to his wife, Bob is survived by his daughter, Erin, her husband, Ross, his brother, his sisters, nieces, nephews, and many other family members. Bob O'Malley. Gerald Barney Lawrence O'Donnell Jr. Barney was lived in Kingston. We lost him June 29th at age 75. Born in the East End section of Wilkes-Barre. He graduated from St. Mary's Catholic School and then served all of us in the U.S. Marine Corps. He wasn't done serving because after his time in Vietnam, he went to the Metropolitan Police Academy, Washington, D.C. He also attended the Pennsylvania Police Academy, the FBI National Academy. His career as a cop began in 1970 in Washington. He then moved to Kingston, where he was a member of the police department starting in 1974. He held every position with the department, becoming chief in 1991. In retirement, he and his wife were avid travelers. He was a loving husband, father, pop-up, and uncle. He's survived by his wife of 55 years, the former Marine Stitzer. His daughter, his daughter Ruth Ann, his son Brian, his daughter Shannon, their spouses, 6 grandchildren, and he was known as the Great Uncle Barney to nieces and nephews in Pennsylvania, Colorado, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Barney O'Donnell. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you, as always, by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at Montage. This is Water Park Day. And you don't have to go crazy. It's right here, right at your doorstep. Montage Mountain Water Park. Today, mostly sunny and humid, high 87. Tonight, humid with increasing clouds, 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and humid with a heavy thunderstorm around. Slow-moving thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, high 85, low 68. Friday, periods of clouds and sunshine, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm from late morning on. It'll be humid with a high of 83, low of 64. Saturday, sun and some clouds with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. 86 degrees for the high, low 57. And the reenactment both Saturday and Sunday down at Nesbitt Park. Great stuff. Sunday, nice with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 85, low 61. And that's your weather, brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain and the water park there. It's 72 degrees at Montage Mountain as I speak. Freddie and the Dreamers, they recorded their hit, I'm Telling You Now, this date, 1963. Nice. The Hollies. Murph tells us this date, 1965. They had the number one hit in the United Kingdom with I'm Alive. Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. Let's go right to the blower because we got that Bloomberg Money Minute coming up. Kevin from Duryea on that tragedy of the trooper getting killed by the illegal alien. Hey, man, you're on.
How you doing, Mr. Cordaro? Kevin from Duryea.
Doing good, Kevin.
Yeah, what a tragedy, and I think got an illegal license out of Massachusetts. But people don't realize these guys. I don't care where you live, guy. It was bad enough that they're killing our youth with drugs. Now they're killing families with the damn 18-wheelers. But I called my egomaniac state rep, Jimmy Haddock, and I thought, I read the obituary. I said, I'm thinking, he's got to be gone. Maybe I could hitch a ride with him, He's not going. He's got a prior commitment. What a piece of,
Well, I'm not a fan of Haddock. He's got to be defeated. He's Mr. Abortion. He loves abortions. Let's kill every baby in the womb. He's Mr. Abortion. And by the way, he was lying like a scumbag. There was no change to Pennsylvania abortion law. So he's an abortion lover who lies. Can't say much great things about him. He's a disaster.
Well, he drinks the Kool-Aid, and people use that expression, and they don't even know where that expression came from. I have to explain to them. It was down in Guyana. yeah. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Kevin,
but anyway,
we got to go because it's going to be 9:50 on my Bacardo's Watching Moments. But thank you. Important point. We'll be back after Bloomberg and all of that. The Association, this date 1967, moved up to number 1 with their hit Windy. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program, which is sort of boringly named the Bob Cordaro Show. But that's what we call it. Hey, we're going to have our guy, Congressman Rob Bresnahan, on at 11 o'clock. We're looking forward to that. And you know what? It gives me an opportunity to brag about him. I'm telling you, I studied Congress since high school. I worked on Capitol Hill. I am not aware. I'm not saying there's a tiny possibility that there was someone more effective than him in their first term. Tiny, infinitesimal possibility. I have never seen a freshman congressman more effective and more in the center of things than Rob Bresnahan. It goes back to the fact that he's not a politician. He was a business guy. And he made things happen as a real estate developer with an infrastructure company. And the endorsements keep coming because of that. Unions, cops, you name it. We cannot lose him. We cannot allow that to happen. A couple of funny texts I want to get to. Rich McHale texted in. I'm giving hand gestures to the Bulldog, okay? Which is, I'm probably, maybe I invented it, but I'm, smacking you got to watch the live stream brought to you by Roach Supply. But he's watching the live stream, and I'm telling Bulldog we go to commercial. And I've got to be, I guess I have to be a little exaggerated when I'm talking to the Bulldog because he really doesn't like to pay attention to me. And Rich said, if you do hand gestures like that on 81, someone will pull you over, just saying. Hey, Joe from Plains, this petition signing today in Luzerne. Thank you, Joe. Talking to us about it. Tell us.
Good morning. I'm down here at Garrity's parking lot in Luzerne. I wanted to make it nice and easy for the people of Pringle, Luzerne, Back Mountain, Kingston, Courtdale to get their name on this petition. It's a common sense petition. It protects, all the things that we value. And I just wanted to be down here in case there are people in this area that want to sign and don't know where to sign. So I'm down here in Garrity's parking lot right now. And we've had, since this early hour, we've had pretty good reception.
Good.
Of people coming over and signing our petition.
Joe,
but everybody knows
I'll tell you what, it is the highest form. What you guys are doing is the highest form of public service.
Well,
You're fighting for something you believe in. We allowed in Luzerne County, left-wing lunatic Democrats to get elected, financed by out-of-town Washington, D.C. based left-wing lunatic goofballs. And now we're stuck with them, and they're trying to bring lunacy to Luzerne County.
Right.
And you guys are fighting against it, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it.
People need to know that we are a grassroots organization. We're not even an organization. We're just a bunch of concerned citizens.
Yeah.
But when you see the kind of money coming in from out of town, you got to be suspicious of why it's happening. And, there's a lot of evidence around the country that the people with the money are ruining cities everywhere. A lot of cities people won't go to anymore.
Yep.
We don't want that to happen in Luzerne County. Our council is not on our side. Our Luzerne County Council is not on the side of the taxpayer, of the law-abiding citizen. They want to protect criminals. They want to protect illegal aliens. They want to protect boys so they could go into girls' sports and their spaces. And we're against that. And that's why I'm out here every day.
And Joe, I will tell you this. There is no better way because all of these issues are tied in to the lunatic left that owns the Democrat Party. And it's tied into that state trooper who's being laid to rest today because nutcases like the Luzerne County Council members, supported by the Democrat loons, they gave a license to an illegal alien, and a trooper is dead, and a family will never recover. Joe, I can't thank you enough. Again, you're at Garrity's?
In Luzerne. Garrity's parking lot in Luzerne. So come on out and sign the petition.
How do they find you? Do you have a flag
down.
or a sign, or how do they find you?
I got a table out here, a couple of signs next to my truck. I'm holding an umbrella to keep the sun off my head, so you can't miss me.
We appreciate it so much, Joe. Thank you for letting us know. All right, man.
Good.
It's 10:01 on my Picardo Jewelers Watch, and I was there yesterday. God, I love those people. I was at Picardo's yesterday. Cutie had me pick something up. You got to go to Picardo's. It's like you're with your family. It really is great. And it's this gorgeous store with all these watches, all this amazing jewelry. Oh, good stuff. Well, Picardo's watch tells me it's 10:01 and change. That means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. We're going to come back. We've got, I think, an interesting interview about China. And Bart Billings, a Dunmore guy who's gone on to fame, written books. We've had him on before. Bart Billings will be our guest. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:06 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Wednesday, July 8, year of our Lord 2026, here in the great Northeast, and I suspect other places as well. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but pay tribute to today, thanks to John. Like Barney O'Donnell, Kingston, Bob O'Malley, Moscow, Francis Kelly, Plains, Christopher Doherty, Peckville, Lieutenant Commander Patrick Gallagher, Leda, Florida, but he was from Mackinac, and Terry Lee Urso, Bloomsburg. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. I got sent this. There was an article, and I missed it. I try not to read the rag. I really don't. So the city is buying this building from Fidelity Bank. And I got no problems with Fidelity Bank. Hey, they're business people. If you've got a soft-headed mayor who now wants to be congressperson, like Paige Cognetti, you say, hey, we got a building we don't need anymore. Can you take it off our hands? Yeah, for $1.88 million. Now, I've told you, the bank building, and let's focus on Paige Cognetti in this transaction, who wants to be your congressperson. She takes $15,000 from board members and executives of Fidelity Bank. And I like all of them, but they're doing their thing, and they know she could be bought. So they buy her. Now, this is the person who's breaking up the old boys network so she could create her own network. So she takes $15,000. Fidelity Bank gets $1,880,000 for the building. Now, could you make it worse, Paige Cognetti? Oh, yes, she can. She might rent out the third floor of the City Hall Annex, competing with all of the developers she has tortured for the last 5 years, who have built and developed in Scranton despite Paige Cognetti. This is the kind of insanity. She's now going to compete with the people who've invested in the city because she bought a building the city didn't need because she got money from the Fidelity officials. Now, please tell me this is not as bad as it gets. This is craziness. So now, the building they don't need, and by the way, I pointed this out to you. I did this stuff. I did this stuff as county commissioner. You do a space utilization study. You figure out how much space you need. Now, Scranton, at about 150,000 people, late 40s, we now have about 70, if we're lucky. Not counting illegal aliens, of course. So we got about 70,000. So City Hall, which also included the police department in the basement, which is now has its own headquarters, cannot accommodate somehow less than half the population. Yeah, in Paige Cognetti's world, this is the level of incompetence and corruption. Yeah, corruption. You take 15 grand, and guess what? They get rewarded with $1.88 million. And then we're going to make it worse. We're going to compete with taxpayers to rent the damn building because we didn't need it in the first place. This is insane. Wow. Disgraceful. Well, we'll bring this up with Rob O'Donnell. I'm besides myself. I truly am. I cannot believe that this is what we do. This is who is in charge of us. And this is, by the way, the Graham Plattner wing of the Democrat Party that Paige Cognetti is part of. And I mean full on part of it. This is craziness. And by the way, playing with your tax dollars. All right, let's get back to the subject here. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. So we've talked to Bart Billings before. And he's writing an issue of Ask the Psychologist. He's a well-known author in his field. Veteran, the whole package, originally from Dunmore. He asks a question. What political party in the United States is most easily penetrated and funded by the Communist Chinese? The Democrat Party is the apparent answer, he says. What one needs to realize now from observations during the World Cup, people here from all over the world, they need to realize what a wonderful country this is. And they've been misinformed about the United States by the Democrat Party and the Communist Chinese. And they're like, wow, this is great, nothing like we thought. But the Chinese have a war plan. And they're coming after it. The new art of war. So Bart Billings is with us now. Bart, thank you for checking in. Appreciate it very much. The Chinese threat to me is along with the Islamists the greatest threat and actually existential threat to America's primacy and power.
Correct.
Talk to us about this article you're going to write, Bart, and about the Communist Chinese.
Yeah, I actually already wrote it, and if anybody wants to read it, they can go to my book website, which is Bart P. Billings, Bart P. like Patrick, Billings.com, and just click on Ask the Psychologist. It's issue 66. But one of the things that this country needs to be aware of is that we are in an invisible war with communist China. It's not a war with airplanes, with tanks, with ships. Yes, they do have those things, more or less as a facade. The actual war with the communist Chinese was spelled out very clearly by Russia's Khrushchev back in 1959, and also at the Western ambassadors meeting in Moscow in 1956. He listed 8 different ways that communism is going to take over the United States and the rest of the world. And like you said, during the World Cup, we have people from all over the world here stating that they never realized what a great country the United States is. Well, why do you think that is? Well, not only is communist China as well as Russia promoting propaganda in the United States to enhance the existence of communism, but they're doing it all over the world. It made me realize it's not just the United States. And what Khrushchev said is that there are steps to communism. The first step is control the health care and you control the people. Khrushchev said this openly. Number 2, poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if you were providing everything for them. Debt, increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes, and this will produce more poverty. Gun control, remove the ability to defend yourself from the government. That way you will be able to create a police state. Welfare, take control of every aspect, food, housing, income, of people's lives, and that will make them fully dependent on the government. Media and education, that's a big one for brainwashing. Take control of what people read and listen to, and take control of what children learn in school. I mean, Abraham Lincoln, as early as 1832, spoke at a meeting of educators, and he said, the job of education is to teach the United States citizens and other countries, teach history of the United States, the history of other countries, and be able to read the scriptures. Back in 1832, Lincoln said this. The seventh way to take over the world, basically, is religion. Remove the belief in God from the government and schools, schools, because the people need to believe only the government knows what is best for the people. And you see this. I mean, the Muslim religion is basically trying to do this as well. Now, it's interesting, in China, the religion of China is atheism, but they allow other religions as long as they register. And currently, China is rewriting the Quran, the Catholic, the Christian Bible to be consistent with the communist beliefs. They're rewriting the Bible. Class warfare, number 8, divide the people into wealthy and poor, eliminate the middle class. This will cause more discontent, and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. I believe that says it all. Going on.
I mean, is that the playbook of the Democrat Party today? I mean,
of course
item by item.
Of course it is, because who has infiltrated the Democratic Party? They've been infiltrated by the communist Chinese as well as Russia. They've been infiltrated, and there's been millions of dollars spent through the Communist Party and to the Democrats. You know, a federal grand jury in Manhattan, this is current, is investigating Neville Roy Singham, and he's based in Shanghai, and he's very wealthy, and he's been funneling hundreds of millions of dollars through shell corporations and the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund in a sprawling network of far-left organizations across 5 continents. I mean, there's subpoenas out to get the guy.
Yeah.
So what does this all tell you? They've been infiltrated, the party that's easiest to infiltrate, and they openly state in their meetings in China, and there's a book called The New Art of War. William Holstein wrote it. Every citizen in the United States should read that book. I summarized it in my last book as well in one of my chapters, how the media creates victims. But it states very clearly China's plan. And one of the things that I was saying that happened in China, and William Holstein worked in China. He was in charge of a press office, a media office in Peking. He speaks the language. And he made it pretty clear that in China, their politicians openly state to own an American politician, all you have to do is bribe them, give them money, and also sex. And we're seeing that in the Democratic Party widely.
Amazing. Scary stuff. Bart, thank you so much for bringing it to our attention again. Bart Billings, author of How the Media Creates Victims and Invisible Scars, 2 books that I tell you are must-reads. They really are. But thank you for bringing to our attention again the communist threat and the Chinese threat. It's a scary thing, and when you run through Khrushchev's 8 steps, we see today's Democrat Party. It's impossible not to.
Yeah, you know, the general public needs to be aware that we're at war with China. We've been at war with China since Korea, when they sent their troops into North Korea and drove us back to the middle of Korea. We've been at war with them, but the war is an invisible war.
Yeah.
People need to realize we are at war. It's an invisible war, and it's being handled through all of the means that I just described.
Bart, how do people check out your books and other offerings?
Well, they're on Amazon, but the best way is just to go to the book website, bartpbillings.com, and you can click on Buy Book, and it'll take you directly to Amazon. You'll get it within a day or so.
Appreciate it very much, Bart. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And we appreciate getting up early to do this as well. I know you're 3 hours past us, but we're honored, and it's always a pleasure.
We got to spread the word. We're in an invisible war with China. People need to know that.
And by the way, that common sense comes right from Dunmore, PA. Right, Bart?
Well, actually, there's a saying, common sense is instinct, and enough of it is genius. And guess who stated that in the 1830s? Guy by the name of Josh Billings.
There we go. All right. It's in the genes, right?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your service to this country and the military, your books, and this message today. Thank you, Bart Billings. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, man. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be right back. Steppenwolf, my favorite. This date, 1968, they released their hit, Born to Be Wild, on Dunhill Records. Also was my favorite cigar, Dunhill. Murph tells us all of this was July 8th, 1968. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. Bart Billings, he really is, and he's the real deal, not only as an author, but in the military, and really good stuff, good stuff. Somebody texts in, because we're talking about China and their influence on the soft-headed Dems. Somebody takes, what's Mitch McConnell's wife doing running to China? I've heard about this story. Mitch McConnell's wife, Elena Chao, who was Secretary of Transportation, I believe, under the first Trump administration. And she's been around Washington. She's been a cabinet secretary, everything. But that's Mitch McConnell's wife. And she is of Chinese ancestry and has family in China. So you say, well, okay, there's a legitimate reason for her to go to China and all this, but it looks like it's much deeper than that. Her husband is in the hospital. Some would argue he's a vegetable. And she's going to China and meeting with high-level officials. And there was always some question as to whether she was rented or purchased by China when she was in government. Fascinating. So I don't have any answers on what she's doing there. It doesn't look good, and it doesn't pass the smell test. We'll tell you that much. By the way, Joe from Trips Park says, them stop endorsing Graham Plattner because we found out he was a scumbag, and they can no longer hide it. You're right. You're right. How do you not know this stuff? And they know it. And by the way, I am told that a much worse report is coming out next week. We'll see. And back on the illegal alien front and this poor state trooper who got crushed by this illegal alien driving, licensed in Massachusetts, which, by the way, Shapiro's doing here in Pennsylvania, so you know. They said in the New York Post this morning, a 21-year-old kid, dead college student, whole life in front of him. The illegal alien truck driver ran him down. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. By the way, it just doesn't come anywhere else. But 4-time deported illegal alien charged with hit and run last Wednesday morning in the city of Scranton. He knocked a woman off her bike with his car and took off. And the cops got him. An illegal alien right here. Oh, no, we don't need ICE. We don't need to deport. No, let them run wild. Unreal. Faithful listener Mountaintop texts in, Bob, sign the petition that Joe has down at Garrity's in Luzerne. They were set up at Wyoming Shopping Center last week. And faithful listener from Mountaintop says, thank you, Americans, for this effort. True Americans for this effort. Sign up, people. Come on, make it happen. LTS, Bob. LTS back at you, Mountaintop. Thank you. Another listener, Bob, we've been under attack from Russia and China since the 1950s. These countries have been conducting subversion activities against the U.S. 90% of the KGB's budget is dedicated to subversion. Their return on investment has been remarkable. I know. The entire Democrat Party is communist. It's not communist influence, it's communist run. Well, you don't think, by the way, I've said this earlier, and it's important to note, and I'm waiting. Please tell me one policy of today's Democrat Party, and let's just look to the 4 years of the Biden administration, that is not beneficial to the Chinese and the communists? Give me one policy. We mentioned a 20% increase in rents, 30% increase in housing costs due to the influx of these 20 million illegals. It's insane. Where does the affordability crisis come from? From the Communist Party in the United States. Yeah. Crazy stuff. All right. It's past time. It's 10:34 on my Picardo's watch. So we've got to take a break. Let's hear from our great sponsors. We will come back. Veterans Tribute, weather, and more. We always deliver more on the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour brought to you by our man John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Man, it's the gateway to the weekend Wednesday. So that means you got to check out all these places, or at least one of them. I'll check out multiple, as I did last weekend. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. You'll walk in, you'll see that second story and the atrium they built there, and you'll say, how'd they do this? Awesome, Queen City Tavern. Main drag, downtown Oliphant. Far Street Tavern. The Colorassi's had a neighborhood tradition, a neighborhood institution. John took it, reimagined it, and you got to check out the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood institution on Far Street in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Multiple bars, great restaurant area. The food's awesome. The service is awesome, as with all these places. You will love the Old Brook Inn on 307. And coming soon, another institution reimagined, the Coney Island Lunch. And right next door, Reagan's Ice Cream Shop, named after his daughter. Great stuff. Francis Kelly. He was 85 when we lost him June 17th. He was from Plains. Born in Plains, graduate of Plains Memorial High School, class of 1959. Francis was a veteran of the United States Navy, serving during the Vietnam conflict. He was employed by Kraft Associates and then as a laborer with Gold National Battery. Upon retirement from those jobs, he was employed as a crossing guard for the Wilkes-Barre Area School District. He was also a funeral attendant, driver, and associate of the Corcoran Funeral Home. Francis was the owner and proprietor of Kelly's Bar, Plains. Avid Notre Dame fan, member of many local clubs and organizations. Tragically preceded in death by his daughter, Colleen Kelly. He's survived by his wife and best friend of 60 years, the former Joanne Corcoran Kelly, his daughter, his sons, his 8 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren, as well as other family members. A great legacy, Francis Kelly. Christopher Doherty. We lost him June 29th. He was 78. Born in the Bronx, New York, graduate of Holliston High School and the University of Scranton. 1977, he married the love of his life, Loretta, and together they celebrated nearly 49 years of marriage. Prior to his retirement, which he thoroughly enjoyed, Christopher was employed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a case manager in the welfare department. Christopher never encountered a meal he didn't cherish or a stranger he wouldn't talk to. A former scoutmaster, man of many interests, ranging from playing in the jug band to tinkering with his home weather station. On Friday nights, he could be found making his famous homemade pizza, followed by a bongo drum performance for family and friends. Christopher Doherty was an extremely proud veteran of the United States Navy, having served during the Vietnam War era. He was an adjutant of the Hrichak McAndrew American Legion post, where he treasured the friendships and camaraderie of his Legion family. He loved to travel. He and Loretta filled a lifetime dream going to France. He left to cherish his memory of his beloved wife of 48 years, Loretta, his sons, his daughters, his 5 grandchildren, and many others. Christopher Doherty, buried out of Sacred Heart Church, Peckville. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the gang up at Montage Mountain, the water park. This is a perfect water park day. You could not get any better. And by the way, it's pretty necessary because it's going to be mostly sunny and humid today with a high of 87. Tonight, humid with increasing clouds, low 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, humid with a heavy thunderstorm around. Slow-moving thunderstorms could bring flooding downpours. High 85, low 68. Friday, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. From late morning on, it'll be humid, high 83, low 64 on Friday. Saturday, sun and some clouds with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High 86, low 57. Sunday, nice with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 85, low 61. And that's your weather, brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Water Park, where there is always something happening, and it is 76 degrees right now at 10:43 on my Bacardo's watch. Murph tells us this date, 1972. Bill Withers moved up to number 1 with his hit, Lean on Me. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. Biden banner disgrace, day 206. This sickening man, this scumbag, he says he's from Baltimore. But what do the idiots in the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association do? They put up a hometown hero banner for Scranton Joey. It's on North Washington Avenue. And then when they found out he wasn't a veteran and had evaded service, and the hometown hero banners were only for veterans, they voted 10-5 to keep it up anyway. Well, now what do you say when Joe Biden says he's from Baltimore, not Scranton? Double, triple, quadruple shame, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Take the banner down. Stolen valor, stolen city, day 206. Murph tells us this date, 1981. Tom Petty with Stevie Nicks. They released their hit, Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Bob Cordaro back with you. Tell Paige Cognetti, stop dragging our money around. My God almighty. By the way, Mr. Paul tells me, majority of the current council at their Tuesday meeting, they said they were against buying the white elephant off of Fidelity Bank. Because, well, anyway, but they know that Paige Cognetti got $15,000 in campaign contributions in order to buy it. They also said it came out of nowhere and was rushed through before the end of the last council, where she controlled 3 votes, the 3 blind mice. Now, if they buy it, they're even suggesting sell it at a profit or try to just get rid of it. Avoid the millions in future expenses. Yeah, unbelievable. And the city has not closed on it. I don't know. I don't think. Well, they could pass legislation, city council, negating the sale. I believe they can. They can pass legislation negating the sale, and they'd need 4 votes because the mayor would vote against them. She'd veto it, and they didn't need 4 votes to override the veto. So it can be done. You can save the Scranton taxpayers, a lot of money for Mayor Paige Cognetti's reward to her contributors. And then she won't rent out the building. She won't rent. I mean, to prove it was a favor to her contributors, she's going to rent out the building and compete with the taxpayers. Absolutely nuts. Somebody said you're the 21st century Joe McCarthy. You see commies around every corner. Well, because they are. They're not around the corner. They're in our face. Are you one? Ask yourself. If you support this stupidity, maybe you are. Joe from Trips Park says, at this point, hoping we'll have a Naog pool reimagined brought to us by Basiliga because it's the only way we'll get it done right. Somebody else texts in, Biden's a scumbag, and he has the blood on his hands of the state trooper and the 21-year-old kid from Massachusetts. Laken Riley and countless others. Take the banner down. You would think they would have enough decency to do it. Yep. Cabinet guy. It's amazing how the Luzerne County Council is fighting so hard to stop the petition. Never saw them do this before. Yeah, they're trying to say there's not enough signatures. So please go to Luzerne and sign it. Just if you're from Luzerne County, please stop this. Just to prove they're not going to tell you how to think. You got to read the ordinance. They're going to tell you how to think and punish you. This is big government in the hands of Lilliputians in Luzerne County. Cabinet guy says they're a big joke. They are. The majority of the Luzerne County Council. Unbelievable. I'm telling you. They're getting to a place that is just crazy. And you know that. And you know that's what's coming. Somebody says you'll see action when one of their own get killed. No, you won't. They're devoted. You got to remember. And so you say, well, name the politician. Haddock. Paige Cognetti. Shapiro. Name the politician. And then we go national also. They're getting their money from Soros's, from Singham's, from Arabella Group, from Code Blue, people that are trying to destroy the country. So they are listening to their masters. Paige Cognetti's congressional campaign maxed out. Maxed contributions from the Soros family. Maxed. Her campaign is being run by the people who ran Mamdani's campaign. They're the same. They're all communists. Yeah, I'm seeing them around every corner. No, I'm seeing them right in my face. And they all practice taqiyya. They can lie. That's the Muslim. That's the Islamist. You can lie to advance Islamism, radical Islam. I got to. Somebody says, very sad about one of our troopers. Sad, yet in PA, this is Shapiro, you could take the CDL knowledge test in multiple languages, which means you can't read the damn signs. That's what these people bring you. That's what Shapiro brings you. That's what Cognetti brings you. They're insane. And their money comes from haters of America. So they have policies to destroy America. It's pretty simple and pretty sad. 11 o'clock on my Picardo's watch, 11 and change. Let's go to the news with our man, Brian Hughes. Then we'll come back. We got Rob Bresnahan, our true congressman. We'll be back. You know it does. It'll never end. You hear Sonny Hostin? Yeah, there's no communists. Great good morning, everyone. It is 11:07 a.m. on my Picardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful Wednesday, July 8th, year of our Lord 2026, here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Christopher Doherty, Bronx, New York, Peckville, Francis Kelly, Plains, Barney O'Donnell, Kingston, Bob O'Malley, Moscow, Terry Urso, Bloomsburg, and Patrick Gallagher, Lieutenant Commander, Leda, Florida, but he was from Macanaqua. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Well, we were blessed a couple years ago to have a guy by the name of Rob Bresnahan elected as our congressperson. And the slime balls and the left-wing lunatic money started talking about him cutting government spending, which is an outright provable lie, before he was even sworn in. I've never seen anything like it, but I will tell you, to me, it tracks back to the fact that he has been, to my mind and my study, the most effective freshman congressman I've ever seen. And he's with us now. Our man, Rob Bresnahan. How are you, Congressman?
Bob, good morning. Great to be with you.
So talk to me. You had a subject that you wanted to mention today. Tell us about it.
Well, Chelsea and I were just driving on Interstate 81. We were tuned into the show, and we tuned in right when you were talking about the absolute tragedy for Ferrara. With the illegal alien, Michael Bond. And I wanted to talk about Delilah's Law. And I serve as the vice chairman of Highway Transit under the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. And back in March, we passed a bill with a vote of 30.
Now we're skipping out.
Name for Delilah Coleman. Who was only 5 years old when she was struck by an illegal immigrant driving a semi-truck, resulting in permanent injuries. And what was truly miraculous is that she was in the committee room when we took that vote today. Wow. And it's a very similar situation to what we saw with Michael Bond, the illegal immigrant from Haiti, who was admitted in 2024 as a parolee, applied for emergency protected status, where that status was never approved. And in 2025, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services issued a notice of termination of parole, but he refused to leave the country. And then what we saw take place last week, where we had a preventable tragedy because of an illegal alien. And if you read the affidavit, which was brought to my attention the other day, when witnesses and law enforcement was questioning him, he wasn't able to communicate because he can't speak English and he can't read road signs, and he's driving an 80,000-pound missile down the roadway, killing our residents and our state troopers.
Wow. It's insane. Rob, when we're talking about Rob Bresnahan, our congressman, Rob, when you are on Capitol Hill and you're confronted with Democrats, particularly, let's talk about this Delilah's Law in your committee. What do they say? What's the basis of opposing this common sense legislation?
It's really hard to try to put your perspective into the mind of someone that clearly would rather prioritize an illegal alien over an American citizen. And you know what? I can't say that about all Democrats, because I work in Problem Solvers Caucus with Democrats. You know, once a week we work on different pieces of legislation. We're working on gerrymandering legislation. We're working on permitting reform legislation. And you need to be able to govern. You need to be able to legislate. You need to be able to get to 218 votes. But when you're talking about illegal aliens having more rights than American citizens, it is infuriating. And what we're talking about here is an illegal alien that got a CDL in a state 5 hours away at a minimum. These liberal decisions are putting other states and our people in northeastern Pennsylvania in harm's way. This isn't good policy. This isn't safe policy. This isn't pragmatic policy. And that's exactly why Delilah's Law was introduced. We are seeing new instances like this one of an illegal immigrant ignoring our laws, injuring, and killing Americans on the road. And look at northeastern Pennsylvania. We have 5 major interstate highways running through our district. We are the thoroughfare. We are the crossroads of the nation's supply chain, which means thousands of trucks are on our road each and every day. Think about just driving from Scranton to Wilkes-Barre on Interstate 81. How many tractor trailers? And tractor trailers are imperative to be able to move every single good that we utilize each and every day. But you can't prioritize the average American safety and the traveling public to cater to illegal immigrants that have entered the country illegally, have been given termination orders, and are still driving on our roads.
And you say to yourself, what am I missing here? Well, we're missing nothing. It is policy intended to destroy the country, financed by billionaires and billionaire groups that have fully intended to destroy the country as it is. And you're confronted with that very powerful complex every day. Had you ever experienced anything like that in business and in your private life before this?
It is unlike anything I've ever seen, especially when, I'm a big believer, the sky is blue, the grass is green. And, when you can have different philosophical debates about how you should go about achieving different pieces of legislation. But, when you start thinking about a tractor trailer, and, being a contractor, one of our biggest exposures every day as a highway electrical contractor was the traveling public, motorists, being on side of a roadway. You can look at 10 out of 10 job site safety analysis. And when you're looking at what you can't control, you can put every piece of traffic control in place. You can do signs. You can do attenuator crash trucks. But when you have men and women working on a job site on the roadway, they are trying to earn for their family. They're trying to have a family-sustaining career. They should be able to come home at the end of the day. And that's just something that you can put every single element of protective measure in place. But when you have an illegal alien who can't read construction work ahead in 2 miles, or if they're driving down a hill where it's a 2-to-1 incline and they exhaust all of their air inside of an air brake because they can't read that there's going to be a severe negative grade coming up, and then they can't stop and they careen through a work zone, those are real-life consequences. So being able to read and understand English is a very simple requirement. It's a requirement to become an airline pilot, and it should absolutely be a requirement to drive something that weighs 80,000 pounds down our interstate. And looping back to Delilah's Law, that's exactly the intention of this legislation. It's to hold commercial driver's license holders accountable and ensure that they understand English, and require states to verify they are not issuing commercial driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. It also places drivers who fail to meet the law's requirement, and it puts them out of service. It's a red tag. It says, hey, you can't be on the road. It's like having loose lug nuts. Like, you just can't be driving down the road and have a wheel fall off. There's a prudent level of responsibility that you need to deploy before you jeopardize the lives of others. And when you start to compromise the safety of law-abiding Americans and catering to a select few, that's not justice. And what we saw happen in Schuylkill County to that state trooper, to his family, to his friends, to his fellow troopers, is totally unacceptable.
Rob Bresnahan's our guest. He is our congressman. Rob, tell me about Pennsylvania now. You're allowed to take these driver's tests in multiple languages, so we're not vetting, and we're not vetting for citizenship either under Governor Shapiro.
And we saw Secretary Duffy get involved specifically with some cases inside of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And, Bob, I don't care if it's Pennsylvania, Kentucky, California, Montana. I mean, think about all of us that get into our car, taking our family, traveling from one place to the other. You should be able to have that reasonable expectation as an American who follows the rules, who are just trying to take care of their families and not be ran off the road by an 18-wheeler because they failed to merge or they failed to read a left turn lane closed sign. I mean, it's very simple expectations. The American people deserve better, and that's why at the federal level, this is certainly a priority. We're hoping that this gets full floor consideration in the very near future. Recently, just last month in March, we also passed surface reauthorization with the floor schedule sometime, hopefully before the August recess. And I would love to see Delilah's Law be attached to another large spending bill to be able to bring this to a reality and then send it over to the Senate, because it's a fundamental expectation that you and I should be able to get into our cars, as well as all of the other constituents of Pennsylvania's 8th Congressional District, and not be murdered by an illegal alien.
Amen, Rob Bresnahan. Now, you celebrated the 250th birthday everywhere. Tell us a little about your weekend, and I'm sure Chelsea was along for much of it.
She was a great ride or die here this weekend. We saw all 5 counties multiple times. We ended, which was really cool, on the 4th of July at Backwoods in Dallas Township, the Old Orange Golf Course, where, ironically, 2 years ago, we got engaged on the 4th of July while Chelsea was emceeing a hot dog eating contest. Unfortunately, the monsoon that came through had different intentions for that day, but we persevered, and it was a great way to wrap up the 4th of July. We were out in Monroe County at their inaugural 4th of July celebration. We were in Carbondale. We were down in Hazleton. We zigzagged the entire district. I think we did 13 different stops, and just getting to see the excitement. We had great weather, except for some passing thunderstorms. And, that's also something that I want to point out. The storm restoration crews that have been going around the clock, nonstop. We have been working through our case service team, our casework service team, trying to prioritize and work with PPL, First Energy, Pike County. There was major power outages, and it was a very hot weekend. Something else we got to do this weekend was relight the Milford Star. That was up on the top of the knob, and what was really, it was really ironic, because as we were visiting the actual star, a thunderstorm had rolled through and knocked out the power to all of Milford. So the only thing that was illuminated was one traffic signal that was running off a generator backup, and the Milford Star that was off a battery pack. Wow. That the Star had been taken out of service since, it's been about 10 years because of a parcel of property and some long-standing disputes in the National Park Service. So the Restore the Star campaign had circulated a petition with over 400 signatures and working with the county commissioners, the National Park Service, the mayor of Milford, a true bipartisan effort and almost an act of Congress. The National Park Service went above and beyond. Eamon did an incredible job researching the historical significance of this star, and we were able to get the lights turned back on to celebrate the country's 250th birthday, and a 10-year saga has come to a resolution.
Which proves that sometimes the acts of a congressman can be just as powerful as an act of Congress. Rob Bresnahan, thank you so much for joining us. And you know this. You could check in anytime you'd like to tell our listeners what's happening.
Well, this is a short notice one, Bob. I appreciate you sliding me in here, but I haven't checked in a while. And to all the listeners, make sure you get out and vote any which way possible. We'd love to have you volunteer on the campaign. Come join us, robforpa.com.
And it means a lot. It means a lot to all of us. Thank you, Rob Bresnahan. Hey to Chelsea, and drive safe, my friend.
You got it, Bob. Thank you.
All right. Rob Bresnahan, our congressman. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. A quick commemoration to Ken Stabler, who we lost this date back in 2015, the old Raiders quarterback. This day, 1994, Murph tells us Collective Soul had the #1 hit with that song called Shine. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK, and always a pleasure to talk to Rob Bresnahan. By the way, Alyssa Fasaro had texted in to ask about the SAVE Act. We didn't have time, but he's already voted for it multiple times, and the House will pass it. The problem is in the Senate with idiots like Mitch McConnell and Rhino Republicans. Tillis, who he can't leave the Senate soon enough. Murkowski, disgraceful people. In any event. Personal indulgence. I'm an Oakland Raiders fan, have been forever. And I mean Oakland Raiders fan. I'm nominal Las Vegas Raiders fan. But Kenny Stabler, their great quarterback who brought them to their first Super Bowl victory after years of frustration, which I personally experienced. And Brother Mike reminded me that he passed this date in 2015, and we thought we would play a clip from 1974. It's called Sea of Hands. Play it, Bulldog. I just have to laugh. That's the old Oakland Raiders in their peak of greatness and fun, by the way, too. They were just hilarious. The Rebels with a cause. Oh, Kenny Stabler, we miss you. We miss you. It's 11 years already. Amazing. Hey, let's go to Luciano from Luzerne County. How are you, Luciano?
¿Cómo está, Bob? Yes, I'm hanging in there, brother, like always, one day at a time. Yes, Bob, I got 2 questions. I like Bresnahan,
yeah.
But I think if I was a betting person, I would say he would lose in Scranton because Scranton reminds me of New York City. And in Scranton, they would even vote for Mandami, that radical socialist Muslim. But,
well, Mamdami's Paige Cagnetti's counting on that because Mamdami's people are running her campaign.
Yeah, well, Mandami's only – I don't like to talk about it because I get a stomachache with Mandami. He's a one-term governor there, but he's going to do a lot of damage. But I got 2 questions for you, Bob. You as a trained attorney, why is it that if the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land, said that DP whatever for the Haitians and the Somalis, and people don't know there are also about 17 other countries that have to be deported, 1.5 million, not just Somalis and Haitians.
On the temporary,
I hear on the news that these throwbacks, Haitians, they said we're not going to obey the government, the United States Supreme Court decision. How can that be? Are they delusional, Bob?
Yes. And they are lawbreakers, and they don't believe in the rule of law. They believe in their sick, twisted agenda exclusively. Here's the funny part, among many other things. The program under which they have come to this country was called temporary. I think we all know what that means.
That's right. I went to Catholic school for 8 years. Temporary means temporary. What part of that do these knuckleheads don't understand, Bob? But let me just say this, and I heard on the
by the way, a lot of these lunatic leftists and Hollywood types are talking. You could have them on tape, and I may do it. We'll see. You could have them on tape talking how beautiful Haiti is. Yet now they're saying, you can't return them to Haiti. They'll be killed. It's a horrible country. But when Trump called it an asshole country, they got offended.
And one last statement, Bob. I heard on the Spanish Noticia en Español, you know that they call us gringos, us Americans, racist. You know that in Jamaica, they try to pull in 38 Haitians into Jamaican territory last week, and the Jamaican government said we don't want them. They tried to go to Barbados, and the Barbados government said we don't want the Haitians over there. Are these people, aren't they the same complexion, Bob?
Well, Hispaniola, the island that they share with the Dominican Republic, Dominicans have everything but machine gun nests to keep the Haitians out of their country. But no, we'll welcome them here. It's as insane as you know it is. And it's crazy stuff. Thank you, Luciano.
Bob. Take care, brother.
Always a pleasure. Hey, 11:33. I'm at Ricardo's Watch. Let's hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back with the Veterans Tribute, the weather, and then we got some calls we got to talk. We got to make happen. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. We talked about the Queen City Tavern, the Old Brook Inn, the Far Street Tavern, the coming of Coney Island Lunch, and Reagan's Ice Cream Shop on Lackawanna Avenue, downtown Scranton. But what sets everything apart in this Basiliga Hospitality Group is the finest of fine dining. A Terra 519, downtown Scranton. The place is awesome. It's gorgeous. The service is great. The new chef is taking charge and making things happen. The new menu's in effect. It is my favorite, a Terra 519. If I don't hit there once, I'll hit there twice a weekend. The Stegmeyer Mansion, an old school take on the same amazing dining experience. A great bar, great restaurant in a turn of the last century mansion, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, which is also an amazing event space. The twin experiences in Northeast Pennsylvania fine dining, the Stegmeyer Mansion and a Terra 519. Terry Urso, we lost him at age 76. He was from Bloomsburg. He worked as a Wise Foods packer. He loved gardening. He loved music. Born in Bloomsburg, 1967 graduate of Bloomsburg High School. Terry served this country and all of us by being a member of the United States Air Force. He was last employed as a packer by Wise Foods. He did this for 36 and a half years. Greatness includes showing up. He was a member of St. Columba Catholic Church. He loved fishing. Early in his life, he was a singer and an accordion player in a band. Surviving is his wife, the former Kathleen Grusatsky, with whom he celebrated his 56th wedding anniversary on June 6th. We lost Terry on June 25th. Also surviving, his daughter, a brother, and other family, Terry Lee Urso. Lieutenant Commander Patrick Gallagher. He was 95, a retired naval aviator, businessman, and test pilot. He died at his home in Orange Park, Florida. Born in Mackinac, received a BA degree from Mansfield University. Patrick retired as a naval aviator after 21 years serving us. He was a Vietnam veteran flying the Vigilante off the aircraft carrier Saratoga. He also owned a music store in Key West, Florida, trained naval ROTC cadets at Cornell University, was a test pilot at North American Rockwell Corp. He owned and operated Pat Gallagher Realty in Orange Park, Florida since 1975. Avid woodsman hunting deer, turkey, elk, and moose. He was a long-distance runner and member of the Florida Striders and the Gateway Rifle and Pistol Club. He also ran the Run for the Diamonds in Berwick for 5 years, and at 81 received a trophy diamond for being the oldest finisher. Pat is survived by his loving wife of 43 years, Betty. His children, 6. His grandchildren, 6. His 8 great-grandchildren, 8 of them. A great legacy and great service. Lieutenant Commander Patrick Gallagher. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the gang at Montage Mountain Resort, where the water park is in full swing, and today has got to be one of the days you go up there. Mostly sunny and humid, high 87. Tonight, humid with increasing clouds, low of 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and humid with a heavy thunderstorm around. The slow-moving thunderstorms we might experience tomorrow can bring flooding downpours. High 85, low 68. Friday, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers. A thunderstorm from late morning on. Humid, high 83, low 64. Saturday, sun and some clouds with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High 86, low 57. Sunday, nice with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High of 85, low 61. And that's your weather. Brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resorts. The water park is happening, man. 76 degrees at Montage Mountain as I speak. Imagine Dragons. Number 2 hit, Murph tells us. This date, 2018, with Thunder. We'll be right back with some calls after this. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Gerard. 2:45 in Townsville, Australia. Rick Bigelow, he has to update me on where it's 2:45 in the morning for the Sinatra end of the song. Somebody texts in, since you're an Oakland Raiders fan, I have something to tell you, Rob. Franco caught that ball. Yes, he did. And that's why they were fun, win or lose. They really were. Oh, very much fun. Hey, Brooke Wilkins is on the line. We talked about this free pickleball and tennis clinic for veterans up at NAOG. Brooke, welcome back.
Thank you.
Give us the details. Fire away.
Yeah, last call. We've got this great event coming up this Saturday, so 2 days away. Weather's going to be great. Free tennis and pickleball instruction for veterans. Any age, any level, any physical ability, we can adapt both sports to your level of comfort and your level of ability. Sponsored by USTA, United States Tennis Association, and Friends of NAOG Park. They've done an incredible job backing this event. We'll have free lunch, free refreshments for the veterans. Bring your friends, bring your family. We're going to have a great time Saturday, 9:30 to noon at Nayog Park.
Oh, that's great. I love seeing the park being used. They just had the Jewish food festival up there, and something like this with the pickleball courts being used, and giving veterans who may not have tried it before an opportunity to check out this activity, this sport, and all of that. Yeah.
Exactly. We've got everything they need, the equipment. So come on down. It's not too late to join us. If you forget to sign up and you still want to come down, we are going to take one and take all. Whoever wants to join us, it's going to be a great time.
Oh, that's great stuff. Thank you. So Saturday, 9:30 to noon at NAOG. Veterans are free. Pickleball and tennis clinic. And Brooke, you'll be there, and you are a professional tennis player.
I'm a professional tennis coach. So I played in college. I've done all that business. So I shouldn't demean my abilities, but we have a great host of volunteers that'll be ready. We have some college kids coming to volunteer to teach, and it's just going to be a nice environment for people to learn and people to have community and health and wellness and fitness. So we are just jazzed.
You needn't be humble on this show, okay?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right.
Listen, thank you to the vets. Thank you to all you do for the vets, and we can't wait for Saturday. So come join us and give it a try.
And if you have a chance, don't hesitate to call in just to remind everybody about this event on Saturday.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Brooke Wilkins. Saturday, 9:30 to noon. The pickleball deal, free for veterans. Love it. Let me finish up before we go to, not finish up, but let me bring in Mother Teresa. Get it in here before the Bloomberg Money Minute because my Picardo watch says we're at 11:50. On my first trip along the streets of Calcutta, a priest came up to me. He asked me to give a contribution to a collection for the Catholic press. I had left with 5 rupees, and I had already given 4 of them to the poor. I hesitated, then gave the priest the one that remained. That afternoon, the same priest came to see me and brought an envelope. He told me that a man had given him the envelope because he had heard about my projects and wanted to help me. There were 50 rupees in that envelope. I had that feeling from that moment that God had begun to bless my work and would never abandon it. We actually ran one song short. And we played, I said, play Steppenwolf again. Born to be Wild, Dunhill Records, this date, 1968, it was released. Somebody texted in, considering the disgrace of Plattner, glad there are politicians, people with apparent integrity like Bresnahan. Heard Scott Turner last night, and he is of that mold. That's the Secretary of HUD we interviewed yesterday on the program. John Perillo listened to him on Virtue. He knows it. Rick Bigelow, yes, extraordinaire on American Revolution, and Catholics were persecuted back then. Listen to the end of the Turner talk. He uses the phrase when he was on here yesterday, Lord, expand my territory. It's from the Jabez prayer. You guys are so good. The man's been awesomely blessed, unbelievable, great guy. Thank you for that text. And then he continues, oh, stop it, like you say. Yeah. All right, let's go to the blower. Let's sneak a couple calls in. Larry from Scranton. Thanks for your patience, Larry.
No, so no problem, Bob. Good show. Last night's city council, they had a caucus to address the purchasing the new building next to City Hall. And the mayor was a no-show, of course, but her business administrator was answering questions. And one of the questions was, what's the main reason for purchasing this building? And she said, which I couldn't believe, we cannot make Old City Hall ADA compliant.
Oh, my
God. It's impossible.
Oh, my God.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob. Wasn't our former great mayor, Wenzel,
yes,
a handicapped veteran in a wheelchair?
Yes. A triple amputee, and he navigated City Hall 40 years ago. These people are insane. They will lie. Cognetti will lie and say anything.
I was wondering how he got in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe work from home was a thing during his administration.
What a great point, Larry. These people are insane.
Bob, another question from young McAndrew was, where's the mayor? Why isn't she here? And instead of saying, I don't know, or another answer, the BA said, well, we're more than capable of answering any questions you have.
Why wouldn't why wouldn't the BAs just say, she's campaigning? She's not the actual mayor anymore.
If I was young McAndrew, my next question to her would be, well, why the hell are we paying her almost $100,000 a year?
Yep. Crazy. Wow.
Crazy stuff. Crazy.
You just scratch your head, don't you, Larry?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for bringing up some great points. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, but take care.
All right, thank you. Max from Dixon City. We'll sneak him in. Hi, Max.
How you doing? First, local politics. It's kind of interesting how they rigged that up where they got those signatures for the anti-discrimination law, and then they turned it out where online you could see everybody's address who signed it. Basically, an intimidation tactic by the Democrat Party.
Them. Yep.
Yeah, that's their intimidation.
Yep.
They sick their goons on innocent people. And we see it in the streets. We see it everywhere. And that's just another example of you have to be responsible for you and your family and take no prisoners because they're coming for you.
Yep.
Number two, what happened in Buffalo, New York, and Boston this past weekend for the 4th, where they raised the Somalian flag and declared how much Somalians do for America. Up yours. Listen, that Buffalo mayor canceled the 4th of July fireworks because they didn't want to celebrate it, because they're communists. And then luckily a patriot stole the flag that they raised from Somalia. Then they threw a fit. And
by the way, guess who was in Somalia instead of here for the 250th? The mayor of
Ilya Oma.
The mayor of Minneapolis. These are insane
that doesn't
people.
Surprise me.
Yeah.
They should stay there. Absolutely should stay there. I'll pay their fare. If I will pay everything for that. And then in Boston, the mayor declared like how great Somalia people were and everything. It's a psych op. They're trying to demoralize people, the American patriots who actually built this country, trying to psych them out, demoralize them, and use every tactic a communist will use to defeat a country from within. People, we're under attack. Enough is enough. Staying home and not voting doesn't teach anyone a lesson. It only affects us, all of us as a collective.
It's not an option anymore. It's not an option. You're right, Max. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it always. All good points. Do you imagine that? Buffalo going communist. It's insane. Somebody else on the Scranton City Hall, what's the point if it's handicapped accessible, meaning Scranton City Hall, if the doors are always locked? Yeah. Well, maybe if we get some contributors to Mayor Cognetti's campaigns, we'll make the City Halls ADA accessible. These are insane people. Guys, great to be with you. You know that. The Sue Henry Show is next. The Rob O'Donnell Show after that. Thanks to Roach Supply, premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. Visit roachsupply.com today, R-O-C-H-E. And Tina Morocco, she is your trusted guide to Florida real estate. Naples, Florida. She just any place in Florida, she'll send you in the right direction. M-U-R-A-C-C-O. Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com or on any social media. Guys, great to be with you. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning as well. But for now, we must gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense because my Ricardo's watch tells me so. Club for Common Sense adjourned.